Welcome to Mysteries to Solve.
Somewhere beneath the waves, there might be a city more advanced than anything the ancient world had ever seen. Gold-covered temples, concentric rings of water and land, a civilization so powerful the gods themselves got jealous and sank it into the sea. Sounds like fantasy, right? Except one of history's greatest philosophers swore it was real. And for over 2,300 years, explorers, scientists, con artists, and even psychics have been obsessed with finding it. Today, we're diving into the 6 wildest theories about the lost city of Atlantis. And I promise you, theory number 4 sounds like science fiction, but people take it very seriously. Let's get into it. Before we chase sunken cities, let's talk about the guy who started all of this, Plato. Yes, that Plato, the Greek philosopher. Around 360 BC, he wrote 2 dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, describing a magnificent island civilization beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which is just a fancy ancient way of saying the Strait of Gibraltar. According to Plato, Atlantis was a naval superpower, rich in gold, obsessed with engineering, with a capital city built in perfect concentric circles of land and water. Sounds like a sci-fi movie set, right? But here's the twist. Plato said the Atlanteans became greedy and corrupt, so the gods punished them. In a single day and night, earthquakes and floods swallowed the entire island whole. And that's it. That's the entire original source. One guy's story written as a moral lesson about pride and power, not a history book. So why has the entire world been searching for a real Atlantis for over 2,000 years? Become buried in Plato's fiction? There might be a few uncomfortable grains of
Plato.
truth.
Let's start with the theory most archaeologists actually take seriously. Around 1600 BC, a volcanic island in the Aegean Sea called Thera, modern-day Santorini, absolutely exploded. We're talking one of the biggest volcanic eruptions in human history, bigger than Krakatoa. This eruption devastated the nearby Minoan civilization on Crete, a sophisticated Bronze Age society with multi-story buildings, indoor plumbing, and advanced art, centuries ahead of their neighbors. Sound familiar? Advanced? Wealthy? Coastal? Suddenly destroyed by natural disaster? Many historians think Plato, or the Egyptian priests he claims told him the story, may have twisted a garbled, centuries-old memory of the Thera eruption into the legend of Atlantis. The timeline's a little messy, and Santorini isn't outside Gibraltar like Plato said, but the pattern matches almost too well to be a coincidence.
Theory number 2, Atlantis in Spain. In 2011, a research team led by American archaeologist Richard Freund used satellite imagery, radar, and underwater technology to study the marshlands of Doñana National Park in southern Spain, right where Plato said Atlantis should be, just outside the Strait of Gibraltar. They found something strange, buried ring-like structures beneath the mud, eerily similar to Plato's description of concentric circles. Freund's theory? Atlantis wasn't a myth or a metaphor. It was a real coastal city, wiped out by a tsunami, and its survivors may have built the nearby city of Tartessos, later swallowed by legend. Skeptics point out that ring-shaped structures aren't exactly rare in nature or ancient architecture, but this remains one of the only theories backed by actual on-site archaeological data, not just speculation.
Theory number 3, the Bermuda Triangle and the Bimini Road. Now we're entering conspiracy corner. Buckle up. In 1968, divers near Bimini in the Bahamas discovered something that made headlines around the world. A half-mile-long line of massive, flat limestone blocks resting on the seafloor, now known as the Bimini Road. To some, it looked exactly like a man-made road or wall. Believers claimed it was a remnant of Atlantis, somehow relocated to the Caribbean, connecting the myth to the infamous Bermuda Triangle and its supposed mysterious disappearances.
Geologists, however, have a less exciting explanation. The road is likely a natural formation of beach rock that cracked into these strangely uniform blocks over thousands of years. Nature can be a very convincing architect. But here's the thing about Atlantis theories. The less proof there is, the more people believe it.
Theory number 4. The Antarctica theory. Okay, this is the one I promised you. Take a breath. Some fringe researchers, most famously in the book The Atlantis Blueprint, argue Atlantis wasn't in the Atlantic at all. It was in Antarctica. The theory goes like this. Thousands of years ago, Antarctica sat in a warmer climate zone. Then, a sudden and catastrophic shift in the Earth's crust, called a pole shift, rapidly dragged the continent to its current icy position, freezing an advanced civilization in place within a matter of years, not centuries. It's the same idea popularized in books about Earth crust displacement. And yes, it's considered pseudoscience by pretty much every geologist on Earth. Our planet's crust just doesn't move like that. But you have to admit, it makes for one heck of a documentary plot. Theory number 5. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. This next one isn't science. It's not even pseudoscience. It's straight-up psychic prophecy. In the early 1900s, an American named Edgar Cayce became famous for giving readings while in a trance-like sleep state. He was nicknamed the Sleeping Prophet. Over the years, Cayce gave more than a dozen readings about Atlantis, describing it as a real, technologically advanced civilization that used crystal-powered energy sources. And he predicted that parts of Atlantis would rise again from the ocean, specifically near Bimini, starting around 1968 or 1969. And remember that Bimini Road we just talked about? It was discovered in 1968, the exact year Cayce predicted. Coincidence? Almost certainly. But it's exactly this kind of eerie timing that keeps the Atlantis mystery alive generation after generation. Theory number 6. A civilization lost to time. Last theory, and honestly, one of the most fascinating. What if Atlantis represents something bigger than one city? Some researchers propose that Atlantis is a folk memory of a global cataclysm, like the end of the last ice age, around 9600 BC, when massive glacial melting caused sea levels to rise dramatically and flood coastlines worldwide. Under this theory, Atlantis isn't a single lost city. It's a symbol for every ancient coastal settlement swallowed by rising oceans as the world thawed. Stories of a golden age destroyed by flood appear in cultures from Mesopotamia to the Americas. Maybe Plato didn't invent a myth. Maybe he was retelling humanity's oldest trauma.
Here's the honest answer. Most historians agree Plato's Atlantis was almost certainly a philosophical story, not a literal travel guide. He even tells us why he wrote it, to illustrate what happens to a society that lets greed and power destroy it. But myths don't come from nowhere. Somewhere between real volcanic disasters, sunken Bronze Age cities, melting ice caps, and a philosopher's imagination, the story of Atlantis was born. And for over 2,000 years, it hasn't lost an ounce of its power to fascinate us. Maybe that's the real magic of Atlantis. It's not about finding a lost city. It's about what the search says about us, our endless hope that somewhere out there, an incredible, forgotten world is just waiting to be found. So, which theory do you believe? Sunken volcano civilization? Antarctic ice city? Or something we haven't even discovered yet? Drop your theory in the comments. I read every single one. And if you love unsolved mysteries like this, hit subscribe, because next week we're diving into a legend even stranger than Atlantis. See you in the next one.